before him and you just think he will erase those things. But many times people are they're so worried about the outward, you know, they worried about, and I'm not saying don't dress up and look like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it can't be your main focus. Amen. That cannot be your main focus. You know, you having a nice outward appearance, but your heart is meant, like Apostle would say, your heart is jacked up. You jacked up. So you can't, what's the condition of your heart? You might be sharp and decked to a T, but what's the condition of your heart?
That's right.
So, you know, and what's the condition of your heart toward God? You know, because many people have, their hearts are not turned toward God. They turn from God, but we have to be a people that's turned to God. And so we have to allow God to be our heart fixer, because that's what he is. He'll fix your heart. If your heart is broken, he can fix it. If it's damaged, bruised, shattered, pierced, he can fix it.
Amen.
So because he is the heart fixer. And D says, keeping God at the center of your heart will prevent anything else from invading your heart. Because, you know, the enemy is always going to bring something. You're going to resist him, he's going to flee, but he's going to come back.
That's it.
He's going to try to come back. He's going to try to come back. But if God is the center of your heart, if he's your main focus, if you have your eyes fixed on him, nothing else can invade you. Amen. Because you filled up to the top with God. And, you know, you filled up with him. And if he's the center of it, if he's the center of your life, if he's the center of everything, that's going to prevent blockage. Things will continue to flow if he's the center. But, you know, people today, God is not the center of their heart. They have everything. They have, like I heard Apostle speak the other Sunday, they have idols. Mm-hmm. So if they got idols, God is not the center of their heart. Amen. So God is keeping God at the center of our heart prevents anything else from invading. And we should want God to be at the center of our hearts. And we want God wants us to have a heart that's devoted to him. Amen. Because if God's the center of your heart, you're going to be devoted, you're going to be committed, you're going to be faithful. That's it. So, you know, you won't be slowful, you won't be disobedient, because God is the center of your heart. Amen. And so, you know, and if God's the center of your heart, you'll be godly, you'll be integrity-like. That means you won't be lying, you won't be digging in your bag, as the Apostle would say, get you an excuse. You won't be in your bag. Amen. You know, you'll be to cut your bag off because you don't need it. Amen. Because you are a person of integrity, you know, and a person of integrity. I mean, and you know, I've heard people say a little white lie. Ain't no such thing. A lie is a lie. That's it. A lie is a lie. And if you telling lies, you're not walking in integrity. You have to be truthful. You have to be godly. And if God is the center of our heart, we'll be honest, we'll be clean, and we'll have a repenting heart. We won't mind getting before God, because although we're saved and everything, we mess up. You know, sometimes we mess up and we might fall down. But just because you fall down don't mean you got to stay down. Sit up. Amen. You know, and dust yourself off and let's go. Let's move. And so we got to have a repenting heart. And when we allow God to be the center of our hearts will honor him. We won't have idols. You know, we won't have put things before God. We won't make excuses. We won't have idols. And if God is the center of our hearts will be pure. Yes. We have to have a pure heart. And, you know, and if God's the center of our heart, you know, you have to be in a place where you know that God's in control. He in the driving seat, and you ain't side seat driving. Come on. You ain't side seat driving. You ain't trying to tell God, do this, help do this. No, you ain't side seat driving. You the passenger, and he is the driver. And so